I don't believe what I just saw.
This is one of the great moments in the history of baseball.
I believe in miracles. Yes!
Is this the dagger?
November 21st. In this episode, Mighty Mouse makes his mark. The Italian Stallion makes his debut. The Galloping Ghost hangs him up in style. The Birdman gets a historic call-up. The Yankees make a historic signing in San Francisco. Notre Dame's football team becomes the faking Irish. And the NHL changes its game format because of train schedules. Plus, our weirdest, most obscure dork draft yet, as former MLB All-Star pitcher Bob Tewksbury, born in late November, decides the best team full of fellow Sagittariuses. Yes, you heard me correctly. All this and plenty more sports memory lanes to walk down with Matt, Mike, and Sandy on this episode of This Day in Sports.
Yes. Tewksbury. Is it now Tewksbury? Another thing is, too, this is our 1 year anniversary.
I know. I was going to let you...
Tukes is coming back. He's a repeat. He was our first ever guest.
A year and a day.
November 20th episode. Now he's coming back for the November 21st. So he's coming back. I said, challenge us, and he told us Sagittarius.
He did.
Well, because it's his birthday.
A lineup
too.
of 8.
Like it's his...
Yeah, November 30th is his birthday.
Okay,
Same day as my mom.
So we are picking a team, a defensive team of Sagittarii.
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
And he would pitch for them, right? It's the
And
team
he would want to pitch for.
He's going to pick the team he wants to pitch for. It's good.
And speaking of pitches, we're here at Cabin, Barber and Gentleman Supply, and we are proud to be here because they are our sponsor. And if you were lucky enough to be in the Port Credit area back on in the beginning of November, you went to Cabin Fest. Matt, myself, and Frank went to Cabin Fest. Mike politely declined, but we had a great time that night.
Mike had to work.
Mike had to work. Okay, Mike has bills.
I politely had to work.
He politely had to work, but we went to Cabin Fest. We recommend it for next year. Hey, Frank, we had a great time. Frank, you had a better time this year than last year.
Frank the Tank let it out, did
he? He let it out. Yeah, he let it out. He took his vitamins. He got there. Great time. We got to go back next year. Mike, you got to join us next year.
Yeah,
1 year later.
It sounds like I missed out.
Yeah. Well, what are the chances you're going to be working again?
Yeah, seriously. That's why I got to take it when it comes.
So, here we are. This is a great place to get a haircut. Get whatever the hell you need. We got lots of pillows, we've noticed.
There's a lot of
more pillows now.
Come and pick up a pillow.
So many pillows in this
might have
place.
Too many.
There's a sign there that says adult entertainment, but you probably won't find a lot of that.
No, this is not that kind of gentleman's
club.
It's not that
kind of gentleman's club.
Made that clear.
Many episodes ago, we got so many emails saying, hey, how do I get down there? Signed, Sylvester T. Perv.
What's the cover
We said,
charge?
no, you're not. One of our normal listeners, our regular listeners, Brian Vaughn was asking, how do I get to that gentleman's club? And we had to turn him down. We had to say, you can't get down. This is not the kind of club we're talking about.
Shout out Brian Vaughn.
Paul Constable, same thing. These folks, these regular people, wanted to know about this gentleman's club. It's a place to get a haircut, get a shave, get the perfect look, get a ton of compliments.
And get a lot of good stuff to maintain that perfect look, too. 2
locations downtown. That's right, Frank. Queens Quay, Union Station. We are in the Port Credit location because we wanted to have about 4,000 pillows. This is the only place that could accommodate our needs.
Yeah.
So here we are. For more details, check out cabinforlife.ca. So here we are. This is November 21st. And what happened on November 21st? Matt, I bet you want to kick this off.
I'm going to kick it off. 1925, legendary two-way superstar Red Grange played the final game of his college career at his University of Illinois Fighting Illini. They defeated Ohio State 14-9 in front of 84,000 fans in Columbus. Grange finished that season with 605 rushing yards on offense and 7 pass interceptions on defense before signing a contract to play professionally with the Chicago Bears. He even played 5 games for the Bears that season to begin his Hall of Fame pro career. So 10 days after his last college game, on Thanksgiving Day, I believe it was 1925, he was playing in the NFL.
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing.
That doesn't happen a lot. 2001, power forward Chris Anderson made history today when he became the first player ever called up to the NBA from its brand new developmental league, then called the D-League, now called the G-League. The Birdman, as he was nicknamed, was called up by the Nuggets after playing just 3 games for the Fayetteville Patriots and ended up playing in almost 700 NBA games over 15 seasons. 7 of those seasons were in Denver, where he became a beloved cult figure for the team's fans, and some very good players have appeared in the development league over the years, like started off there and got to the NBA and became very good players. Pascal Siakam, Chris Middleton, Danny Green, Rudy Gobert, Jordan Clarkson, they all played in the D-League before they came up to play in the NBA.
And just to review, went from developmental league to Gatorade League.
That's correct.
Okay.
I didn't want to shout out Gatorade.
And when you said the Birdman, I realized I should have said with Red Grange, he was the Galloping Ghost that you alluded to
tie it
in the
into
beginning
the
to tie it
intro.
in.
Okay,
Yeah.
good stuff.
He is the Galloping Ghost.
That
Well-
wasn't in the notes.
I'm going to tie another one in.
All right, tie it in.
1942.
Tie it.
November 21st, 1942. Due to conflicts with train schedules due to World War II, the NHL canceled all overtime games. Overtime did not return to NHL games until 1983, when a 5-minute sudden death extra period was added. Up until 1942, overtime was a 10-minute period, no matter how many goals were scored.
Yeah.
So it wasn't sudden death. You just fired away.
Yeah.
Up until 1942. So that was conflicts of World War II. This is the train stuff we talked about in the intro.
It's all time.
Checking all the
Do you
boxes.
think that was like the players on the trains or the fans on the trains? Just trains?
Well, the thing that would happen was a non-essential travel.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you wouldn't use the train for. They did in baseball too.
right.
How are we doing over there?
How we
Everyone
doing,
good?
Frank?
All the equipment's getting in and everything's getting. We of course are on the loading dock here at Cabin. They're just getting a shipment of scissors in. This is a functioning business. Thank you,
We all-
Frank.
Yeah.
Yeah, a functioning business.
Yep.
Frank's new band, Functioning Business, will be playing Cabin Fest next year.
Cabin Fest still going this year. I think we got a few stragglers
Yeah,
still
that's-
still heading out for the
Wandering
night.
in.
Well, there was not essential travel, so baseball too. They couldn't travel that much because they were trying to do more flights, even in baseball, and they couldn't do it. They had to stay on the train because they didn't. There's no way they were going to let them take planes. So that was probably what happened here in hockey. They weren't allowed to travel.
Yeah.
There's no reason for them to do that.
November 21st, 1934, the New York Yankees purchased the contract of outfielder Joe DiMaggio from the AA San Francisco Seals of the Pacific Coast League for $5,000. The Yankees also sent 4 players to San Francisco as part of the deal, including 8-year veteran infielder Doc Farrell, who refused to report to the Seals. DiMaggio played one more season for the Seals in 1935, batting .398 and slugging .672 at age 20. He joined the big league club in 1936 and never returned to the minor leagues again.
Yeah.
Joe DiMaggio, look him up.
Probably the best $5,000 the Yankees ever spent. You got to figure.
Oh my God. Yeah.
That worked out pretty good.
And
Greatest Yankee of all time, as he likes to.
and what
refer
we're going to
himself.
find out in a little bit is he was a Sagittarius.
Oh, teaser.
Wow.
Little
okay.
teaser.
Yeah.
Teaser.
This is November 21st, 1973. In a controversial vote, Cincinnati's Pete Rose was named National League MVP. He edged out Willie Stargell in the voting, 274 to 250 to win his first and only MVP award. That's a little bit surprising. Rose led the NL in hits and batting average that year, but hit only 5 home runs. Stargell led the league in homers, RBI, slugging, and OPS. Ironically, in retrospect, the award probably should have gone to Rose's teammate Joe Morgan, who hit 26 home runs, stole 67 bases, and scored more runs and had an higher on base than either Rose or Stargell, and was the only one of the 3 to win a Gold Glove that year.
And Mike, wasn't it also Stargell who tied for MVP with Keith Hernandez?
In 1979, that is correct.
Yeah, interesting.
Willie, a couple of close votes for Willie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with Willie might maybe a more popular player.
Yeah,
So
certainly among the players, yes.
Pete might have earned it in the fact that he probably didn't have like the people loving him.
Yeah, 230 hits, but only 5 home runs. That's that's a lot of slapping the ball around.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
That's what the Reds needed him to do. But
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with slapping the ball around.
well, when 44 home runs to 5, I don't really know if I care what your batting average is so much. It's a big difference.
Especially in that era.
Yeah.
Where
And
it was
Stargell
still
had a higher
more of a
slugging
pitching
and
era.
OPS. Like,
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Anyway.
We're not going to change it.
We can't.
Fortunately.
we don't have that
I
power.
wish we could, but if we did, we wouldn't go back and kill Hitler.
No.
We would go back and make sure Stargell was MVP,
That's right. Or Joe Morgan.
or even Joe
That's right,
Morgan.
yeah.
That's fine.
That's right.
1995, Toronto rookie point guard Damon Stoudemire recorded the first triple-double in Raptors history with 20 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists during a 102-97 win over Seattle at the Sky Dome.
Yes.
Stoudemire, nicknamed Mighty Mouse, was named NBA Rookie of the Year after that season over fellow rookies Kevin Garnett, Jerry Stackhouse, Rasheed Wallace, Michael Finley, and Antonio McDyess. Just 5'10" tall, so 5 feet 10 inches tall. Stoudemire retired after 13 years in the NBA with the most rebounds in NBA history by a player under 6 feet tall, 3,339. That's a great trivia
A
question.
little tidbit, eh? Yeah.
Most rebounds by a short guy.
Yeah, that's
basically
correct.
is it.
Pretty amazing he won Rookie of the Year over all those guys.
Yeah.
It is, and that was such a bad Raptors team. It might have been a factor
Well, he was the best player on a, so
by
he,
far, and being a rookie.
he really was, and he just piled on the stats because they had Tony Massenberg and Jan Tabak.
Yeah,
Like he didn't have a lot of help.
not at all. So I guess they're looking at those factors.
Yeah. Whereas those other guys probably went to at least half decent teams when they got drafted.
Couldn't be worse.
Couldn't be worse. No.
1976, Rocky, a new film written by and starring Sylvester Stallone, was given positive reviews in several influential New York newspapers today after its world premiere screening the night before in Manhattan. Directed by John G. Avildsen, the film starred the relatively unknown Stallone, who famously refused a six-figure deal from Universal Artists for the rights to the film unless he could play the title role. The movie won the Oscar for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Editing. It was nominated for 7 more Oscars that year, including performing nominations for Stallone, Burt Young, Burgess Meredith, and Talia Shire, and Best Score nomination for Bill Conti for his now iconic music and theme song, which I assumed Sandy would have been humming through this whole bit.
shit.
The film is generally regarded as one of the great boxing and sports movies of all time, and its success inspired 6 sequels, as well as being the starting point for all 3 Creed movies from the last decade. There have been Rocky video games, Rocky musical, and it made it to the steps of the museum, a must-see landmark for people going to Philadelphia. Thank you so much. I stumbled on the final steps running up there to make the final point about.
That's fine. We kind of
musical,
screwed you up there.
No, that's all right. But Rocky, hey, that's a while ago.
Rocky's a while ago.
It holds up.
It does hold up. Great movie.
it's a
The
great
new
film.
slide doc is supposed to be really good too. That came out.
Oh, yeah?
Frank seen it?
I think it's multiple episodes, but I saw the first.
It's good.
Okay.
And
Okay.
it's mostly about how he made,
Made Rocky.
Rocky.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that was his. It holds up. It's good.
Oh, absolutely.
Subsequent films, less so.
Yeah.
But that's always the case with.
But they're of the era.
Yeah, one of the low key iconic moments was the cracking of the raw egg, the drinking the raw
Yeah,
egg.
yeah.
Like everybody was trying that afterwards.
That's right. Yeah.
drank raw eggs.
Yeah.
And then running through the streets. There's a lot of iconic stuff in that movie.
What's that, Frank?
You didn't crack the raw eggs.
Oh, sure he did.
I do
It's
find
disgusting.
as great as that film was, and as much attention as it got, I am a little surprised that Carl Weathers wasn't one of the people nominated for that film, because Carl Weathers is great as
And
Apollo
he
Creed.
was a late replacement.
Oh yeah.
He was.
Oh
eh?
yeah.
For who? Little trivia we
You
didn't
gotta
know.
watch the doc, buddy.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Spoiler.
Have
alert.
you seen? I don't have them on the tip of my tongue, but the other movies that were up for best director that year, it was a pretty packed year, I believe.
Yeah.
So good for
Yeah.
Avildsen.
Everybody won except Stallone. Okay, 1969. In his first game as the new head coach of the Cincinnati Royals, Hall of Fame point guard Bob Cousy also played 10 minutes during a 133-119 win over Chicago at the Cincinnati Gardens. Cousy was 41 years old at the time and hadn't appeared in an NBA game for 6 seasons until this game. He had 3 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, and 4 personal fouls in his 10 minutes, and played just 7 more games for the Royals that season, totaling 35 minutes the whole year. He never played in an NBA game again. You got to figure maybe they did that to sell tickets, right?
Would you say they win that? Did they win that game?
They won that game.
Oh, I thought you were losing badly, and he just
No.
tore off his suit and ran out there and just beat up somebody 4 times.
No,
prove a point.
he came in. I got to figure he came in maybe late in the second quarter.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. But that's amazing. I think that every coach, every manager, all the leagues should have the option just to go, I'm going out there, guys. I'm going to show you how it's done.
Popovich finally gets a chance to get out there.
Just
and
go out there.
Body somebody up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. I mean, I would have loved to have seen just before he goes out, Dusty Baker's like, I'm just going to go take one more swing, guys.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
a suit,
I'm
can
gonna
you wear the
pinch it.
suit? In
Yeah, you
basketball?
just say screw it out. But the coach can wear a suit.
Yeah,
coach can wear the
Any
suit.
manager or coach, you're right.
I mean, we know
should
the
be
baseball
allowed
guys
to
are dressed.
They should be allowed to insert themselves in the game at any point.
That would be fantastic.
correct.
Yeah, why do baseball managers need the uniform?
No one really knows.
Okay.
No.
One of the only sports.
It's really weird in a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways. in many ways.
And they just kind of just lean over a railing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
like there's any physical exertion.
No, there's
Well,
no need.
I mean, when they go out there and argue, and I've got to kick the dirt around and stuff.
Yeah. You don't want to be wearing a suit.
I'll tell you what, in 1965,
Tell us what.
over 76,000 fans packed the Cotton Bowl to give the Dallas Cowboys their first ever home sellout game. The visiting Cleveland Browns ruined the big day. They don't do that very often, but they did ruin the big day. They winning the game 24-17. But now back then would have been like a good team, Cleveland Browns team, of course.
And the Cowboys were not yet a good team.
No,
I guess,
now they're America's team.
Wait, what year was that?
1965.
Okay. Okay.
Cowboys? I was saying this the other night because, Wheel of Fortune's always, it's America's game, Wheel of Fortune. And I was like, and then Dallas Cowboys are America's team. Like, you just go ahead and say it. No one made you that. You just, because my wife said to me, why are the Cowboys called the America's team? I said, well, they thought of it first.
Yeah,
So
they just said it out loud, so it became a thing. Yeah.
Nobody said that for them.
Harbaugh tried to say that about Michigan being America's college football team.
How'd it go?
Well, like a fart at a funeral, I would think. I don't think people like that.
So well then.
Yeah. Okay.
Fart at a funeral. 2006. Segue.
Tie that in.
November 21st, 2006. New York winger Jaromir Jagr. He scored 2 goals during the Rangers' 4-0 win over Carolina. Their 601st and 602nd goal of his career, passing Jari Kurri to become the NHL's all-time leader in goals scored by a European player. Jagr was 34 years old at the time, but played another 11 NHL seasons and finished with 766 goals, good for 3rd place all time.
Jagr, still playing.
And he's not in the Hall of Fame yet.
He can't be in the Hall of Fame because he keeps playing in Europe.
Retired.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's 51.
He's still playing.
He's still playing, so they can't put him in the Hall of Fame. I think he'll get in.
Yeah.
Oh,
3rd all time.
But he's got to stop playing.
But he's got to stop playing. All right, 1956, Brooklyn pitcher Don Newcomb became the first ever to win both his league MVP award and the Cy Young Award in the same season. He went 27-7 with a 3.06 ERA and also hit .234 with 2 home runs that year. And that was also the first year there was a Cy Young Award, which is obviously an exclusively pitcher award. And it was not just an AL-NL award. It was just one pitcher for all of MLB that year. So him winning the MVP and the Cy Young, pretty big deal. And it did not become a league-based award for another 10 years after that.
Yeah, it was because I think McCormick was the first in the National League to win it when it was just National League. So that went in the late 60s.
So Donnie Newcomb, big year in 56.
Massive year. And I don't know, is Don Newcomb sometimes forgotten? I mean, maybe by the more casual fan.
Yeah, I think he is. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
That's crazy he's not in the Hall of Fame. That is one of the crazy ones.
Put him on the list, right?
So was there league MVPs before there were league Cy Youngs?
Yes.
Why? So it's interesting that they
Agreed.
they didn't just decided pitchers. We'll do the whole league.
Yeah,
we'll
it
do
feels
the
like
whole
they
league.
just kind of have a throwaway award in some ways.
Yeah. And you'd think that in the first year where you have a pitcher-specific award, a pitcher wouldn't win the MVP as well. Like you'd think, we're doing this to reward the best pitcher so that the best hitter also gets or the best, and still they give it to, this is really, it took them a while to sort it out.
Yeah, that was
They've got it all.
ironing out the kinks.
All the voting's great now.
They were all concerned about the managers in
voting's great.
uniforms. They were confused.
1953. Number 1 ranked Notre Dame tied Iowa 14-14 in a game at South Bend by faking injuries in each half of the game. 2 seconds left in the first half, a Fighting Irish player faked an injury to stop the clock, and they scored a tee in the final play for the half. Then with 6 seconds remaining in the game with Notre Dame out of timeouts, 2 different Irish players faked an injury before the Irish scored a game-tying TD as time expired. This is like a school that is so Catholic and all about we play criminals when we play Miami and all that crap.
Right, yeah.
Notre Dame lost their number 1 overall ranking after the game, though, dropping to number 2 next week. They finished that season undefeated with a 9-0-1 record, but finished in second place overall behind Maryland. Come on. Faking injuries. I wish I had footage of that, what these injuries were, though, how fake they were.
Well,
Soccer level?
Yeah, you can't really call someone, I would say probably exaggerated injuries.
I think like a soccer kind of style,
Oh, yeah.
Lying down on the ground, rolling around.
I'm sure it was something, or a cramp or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's why the rule exists now, or that's one of the reasons that rule exists now, that if you're injured during the last minute or two, it costs a timeout, or you lose time off the clock or whatever.
It's got to be it, because everyone would try to.
Because everyone would keep doing it,
Probably terrible actors,
That's
too.
correct.
Quick hits?
Yeah, let's do some quick hits. Quick hit 1998. Villanova's Brian Westbrook became the first player in NCAA football history to have at least 1,000 receiving yards and 1,000 rushing yards in the same season during the Wildcats' 27-15 win over Rhode Island. Though Villanova was no longer a Division I school at the time, Westbrook's achievement was still remarkable, and he went on to become an all-pro running back in the NFL with the Philadelphia Eagles in the same city where he played college ball. Brian Westbrook was a pretty incredible running back for Philly. You remember watching him play? It was just,
Yep.
Yeah, he flamed out quicker than you hoped, but he was great for those years he played, yes. Okay, quick hits we're doing, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we're in them.
Quick hits! The Canadians hosted New Jersey and emerged victorious in 1987 in a game at the Forum that was attended by King Olav V of Norway.
One of my favorite kings of Norway.
One of the top 5.
Yeah, for sure.
The King watched all the action from right behind Montreal's bench.
If you're from America, Montreal.
That's right.
In 1992, the Kings played the 2000th game in franchise history and 1000th home game, defeating Toronto 6-4 to extend their current home winning streak to 10 consecutive games. Quick hit.
2015 Sharks forward Patrick Marleau, his first period assist during a 3-1 San Jose win over Pittsburgh gave him 1,000 NHL points, making him the 83rd player ever to reach the milestone and just the 16th to do so, all with one team. 83 and 16.
Not too shabby. 2004, quick hit. Roger Federer set a record by winning his 13th ATP tournament final in a row, defeating Lleyton Hewitt in the finals of the year-end Tennis Masters Cup in Houston. Federer, now cemented as the number 1 player in the world, had an amazing 2004 season. He won the Australian Open for the first time, his second Wimbledon, and his first U.S. Open. The title in Houston was his 11th tournament win of that year.
Quick hit. 2021. Lewis Hamilton won the first ever Qatar Grand Prix with Max Verstappen and Fernando Alonso completing the podium finishes. The race became the 4th Grand Prix event that takes place throughout the night, as opposed to day or day into night races, and replaced the Australian Grand Prix that year after it was canceled due to COVID-19. And I'll tell you, if you're a fan of that, you know Verstappen wins all the time. So this was in the glory days when Lewis Hamilton was still winning races.
Roger.
Quick hit! 1981, BYU's Gordon Hudson set a Division I football record for tight ends with 259 receiving yards in a game during the Cougars' 56-28 win over Utah. Brigham Young quarterback Jim McMahon threw for 552 yards in the game. That's a lot of yards.
That's a lot.
And probably wore a headband.
Quick hit, 2008, Michigan got crushed 42-7 by Ohio State in Columbus, a suitable ending to the worst season in their football team's 129-year history. They finished just 3-9 that year, including embarrassing losses to Toledo and Northwestern, and this their most losses in a season ever. It was the Wolverines' first season under new head coach Rich Rodriguez. He lasted just 2 more years in Ann Arbor.
Quick hit, 2016. Hamilton, Ontario native Mackenzie Hughes became the first rookie in 20 years to lead wire-to-wire for his first PGA tournament win. Hughes holed an 18-foot par putt from off the green on the 3rd playoff hole to win the RSM Classic on St. Simons Island, Georgia, to win a $6 million purse.
Whoa.
Didn't seem like much of that tournament until I realized he's getting $6 million. Not too shabby. Should we get into some birthdays, Matt?
Well, you know, it is kind of the birthday of the show.
It's a birthday episode.
It's a birthday episode, 1 year. Let's get into some birthdays.
Yeah.
Let's start with 1966, November 21st. Hall of Fame QB, 3-time Super Bowl champ, broadcaster Troy Aikman was born in West Covina, California.
In 1969, Hall of Fame outfielder, 13-time All-Star, and AL MVP Ken Griffey Jr., born in Donora, Pennsylvania. Here's a weird one.
Yep.
In 1920, on the same day, in the same town of Donora, Pennsylvania, Hall of Fame St. Louis Cardinals outfielder Stan the Man Musial was also born.
So weird.
What are the chances of that? 2 inner circle Hall of Famers born on the same day of the year in some small town in Pennsylvania. Very strange.
Yeah.
And noteworthy. That's why it's on the broadcast.
I feel a road trip coming on to
Donora.
Donora, Pennsylvania.
Let's get on the road to Donora.
Yeah.
We're off on the road to
that
Donora.
does feel like one of those travel movies, eh?
Yep.
With Crosby and...
This taxi is hot on
By the
my
way,
spine.
Frank quit.
Frank is long
I
gone.
wanna say
Frank's in Donora.
Frank down in Donora. Let's go live to Donora. Frank, you just arrived.
Scouting locations.
Come in, Frank. Are you there? No, he's...
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
In 1944, NBA Hall of Famer Earl the Pearl Monroe in Philadelphia.
Very nice.
1971 Hall of Fame defensive end and broadcaster Michael Strahan was born in Houston, Texas.
He did not make our list of athletes turned broadcasters.
No.
I know.
Wasn't even mentioned.
You really should have.
Yeah. Let's show us how many
Game
good
show
ones
hosts.
there are. Yeah. 1955, 1981 NBA Finals MVP and two-time NBA champion Cedric Maxwell, born in Kinston, North Carolina. I like that one because I think Cedric Maxwell might be the most obscure NBA Finals MVP ever. Like when you list guys who won MVPs, it's always like Kareem and Magic and Bird and like all the guys you think of, Jordan, LeBron, you know. And then Cedric Maxwell, like, he just went crazy for 6 games that year.
That's the Rockets?
It's against the Rockets. He was for the Celtics.
Yeah, Celtics Rockets.
And he went crazy and basically, like, Vernon Maxwell played for the Rockets.
Vernon Maxwell.
This is Cedric. He's the most obscure for sure.
For sure. Easily. Matt, I'm going to go to deaths if you don't go to a birthday soon.
Oh, well, you go after Mike. That's how it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Deaths it is.
Who died, you might ask
Okay,
yourself.
you know what? I got a birthday.
Okay.
It's the birthday episode. Let's not
Okay.
sell him short. Let's go with all-star, tallest goalie in the NHL history, 6'7", Ben Bishop, was born in Denver, Colorado.
Denver, Colorado.
Big.
Mike, you got one birthday before you go to a death?
No, you go to death.
Okay.
You go to death.
Happy death to oh boy.
Oh, no.
This is a crossword favorite, Mel Ott.
Yeah.
Mel Ott died in 1958. Hall of Famer, 6-time NL home run champ. Died in a car crash, age 49.
I didn't know that.
Yikes, Mel Ott.
Terrible.
He died young, but man, he lives every Saturday and Sunday in the crosswords. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I got another sad one for you here,
All
guys.
right. Okay, here we go.
1970,
Yeah.
Hockey Hall of Famer Newsy Lalonde
Yeah.
died at age 83.
Man, that's tough on you. That's got to be tough on you,
yeah,
Matt.
you
You must
know-
think about that every day.
Fun Newsy Lalonde fact.
Oh, God.
He,
Are there any left?
he played.
Are there actually some?
He played and he had 2 points, 1 goal, and 1 assist in the first NHL game, helping the Canadians defeat Ottawa Senators 7-4 on December 19th, 1917.
Now, wouldn't it be weird if New Zealand said, my final joke when I die, don't put my obituary in the paper? Is that too obscure?
Because Newsy?
Because he's called
Okay,
Newsy?
yeah.
What do you think?
I think
Yeah,
we can
I
edit
think
that out.
Hey, a song for the fences. Just like, no, this is not even a bad.
You got another death you wanted?
I do. This is sadly, I believe him, a teammate of, no, this is not. Yeah, he could have been a teammate of Mel Ott. I think he was. 1988 Hall of Fame, 9-time All-Star, 2-time NL MVP pitcher Carl Hubbard, dead at 85. He was a Giant as well. I believe he was a Mel Ott teammate.
Well, they're born 30 years apart.
So probably not.
No. He died. 30 years
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. They died 30 years apart.
We're in the death section. Matt.
Yeah.
My bad. I was
That's all
we're
good.
in the death section.
We're in the sad part now.
We
Okay.
are in the sad part. I
Let's
was looking
get to
at the
this.
wrong thing.
Crazy
Okay,
draft.
we've already had this epic discussion about all the other things. So we're going to get to this draft. Now, this is a controversial draft, but Tukes asked for it. We want to honor our first guest comes back.
That's right.
He's born November 30th. He said, make me a lineup of the 8 guys I would want to pitch for that are all Sagittariuses. That's from November 22nd to December 21st.
Correct.
So this is a lineup of MLB players, all-timers.
Sagittarii.
We're all Sagittarius. You can check our research if you like.
Yep.
We're going to make it quick, though, because we know we got to move because it could be a long one.
We'll let the comments come from Tukes.
We did roll off stage before the show and on a 3-sided dice. And Matt, You're first.
We talked about him earlier. I'm just going to take Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
Okay. I'm going to...
Center fielder, sorry.
Sorry, that's
Thank
fine.
you.
Yeah. I am going to take someone named Ty Cobb as my center fielder.
Yeah, I thought about that, but
fantastic choices, everybody. All right, well, that's it. No good guys left, so let's call it there.
Drive safe, everyone.
Have a great night, everybody. Well, I'm going to go for position scarcity, and so I'm going to pop over to first base and grab Mo Vaughn.
Yeah.
Mo Vaughn will be my first baseman.
All right.
okay, it's on to me. Okay,
There's only 3 of us.
There are only 3 of us. I am going to buy a vowel. No, I'm going to go with a catcher. I'm going to take Johnny Bench.
Johnny Bench.
Sure. I'm going to go and get a second baseman. I'm going to go with Hall of Famer Craig Biggio.
Excellent choice. Well, if you're going to go Biggio, I better get into that second basement because also be a little bit scarce. So I'm going to go with Tony Lazzari, the 1927, of course.
Lazzari, yeah.
We're talking about Murderer's Row here.
Yeah, that's
I'm going to go with it.
All right.
Okay, hold on. I got to get caught up here. Okay. I am going to go with, I'm I'll dip my toe into right field and take Al Kaline.
Wearing the shirt.
Yeah.
Didn't even get my guy.
Didn't even get him.
Nope.
I'll stay in right field then, Matt, and I'll take Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yeah, I thought about that.
He's pretty good. Sandman.
Yep, just getting caught up because I'm passing this list on.
Oh, yeah.
Hot off the presses.
That's right.
All right, well, I don't have to go to right or center field now. I can wait for a while because those have been picked. And I got a lot of good choices in left field, so that's okay. I can cruise on out of there. Okay, I'm going to go with, my second choice at catcher is going to be Pudge Rodriguez.
Sure.
There you go.
Pretty
Who
good.
was your other pick, Sandy?
I took a gentleman by the name of Tony Lazzari or Lazzari, if you will.
And who is
Move on.
Move on. Thank you. I missed move on.
Yeah.
Okay, who is it now?
It's Matt.
It's me.
Matt Kippen.
It's me, and we're going at this fast pace here. I am going to go with, okay, you know what? I'm going to go to the shortstop. I'm going to take Jimmy Rollins.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, Jimmy Rollins, gone.
Yeah, absolutely. I am going to go to first base as well, and I'm going to take Tino Martinez as my first baseman.
I missed that he was a Sagittarius.
Yeah, I don't have him on here.
Well, we can check
Yeah,
back. I will
let's,
check right now, but I had him on my list. If I blew it, I'll replace him at the end.
Nope, you don't get a first baseman.
That seems
Okay, great. Let's head back to
December 7th, 1960.
You got in there, missed him.
Oh, you
Nice
missed
job.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to a shortstop. I think is kind of underrated. Larry Boa.
Yeah.
A lot of hits. Great fielder. I'm gonna go with Larry Boa as my shortstop.
Right on. Good player.
Okay.
Underrated historically, Sandy.
Yes, absolutely.
I get a feeling Tukes is going to like that pick.
Or hate him.
Well, yeah, it'll be swinging for the
Hard
fences.
to say. Hard to say.
All right,
Okay,
Matt, what do you
I'm
got?
going to go with, I'm going to take a second baseman, and I'm going to go with Chase Utley.
It's a pretty good player. It's to me, and I'm going to go to left field, and I'm going to take Bo Jackson
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it'll be fun to have him on my team. And maybe
Bo.
he'll do
Maybe
some
it'll
pretty cool
balance
stuff.
it out
Yeah.
because there's some.
Okay, that's fair. Well, I'm gonna go with one of my favorites, Minnie Minosa,
Yeah.
left field. That's one of my favorites, the Cuban Comet. So I got to go with picking with a great player, but also my heart. Love that guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going deep. I'm going left field, Jesse Burkett.
Okay.
Quiet.
Crowd
Some
goes
quiet.
Crowd goes
left
silent.
field. Left field. You say?
Another
Yeah.
tip and pick.
He was born on December 4th. Jesse Burkett.
Okay. Yeah.
You're trying for Edie? Did you try to do an Edie Brickell joke? No. All right.
Yeah. Okay. It's me.
That was left field, eh, Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go to third base, and I'm going to take a longtime New York Met, David Wright.
Excellent choice.
He was a great player for a long time.
Injuries.
Yeah, he'd be in a Hall of Famer, I think, if he hadn't gotten hurt.
And I'm just going to bash away with Matt Williams at third.
Yeah,
Why
that was
not?
my debate.
That's it. Debate over.
Yeah. It's to Matt again.
Okay, I will take Josh Donaldson at third.
Yeah. Yeah, he was great.
Legendary Yankee.
Legendary Brewer.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Twin.
Wait, Sandy, who'd you take at third?
I took
Williams.
Matt
Matt
Williams.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got to take a shortstop still. I think I have shortstop and catcher left. Have we got 6? Everybody's got 6 now?
Yeah, I only have one left.
Okay, you have 7 because you started. Okay, so I need a shortstop and a catcher. I am going to take current Detroit Tiger and former Chicago Cub, Javi Baez.
Yeah.
Sure.
My team,
Polarizing.
Tukes is a pitcher.
Yeah.
I figure he's going to want good defense.
Yeah.
That's about as good as it gets. Defensively, he's pretty amazing. He does
Yeah.
some incredible things, so that's my rationale.
But he also wants to know that if he had to, and if some weird thing happened, he had to pitch to him, he could strike him out.
Oh, he totally could, yes. Sliders away
A slider's away.
all day long.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently even 50 Cent can strike him out. Well, let's just dip right into right field and get me Larry Walker.
That's not
Yeah,
bad for you.
yeah, for the last guy
And,
picked.
yeah.
My goodness.
Okay, Matt.
Hey, we're in the last one. Mike,
one-
sorry, who was your last pick? Oh, it doesn't matter.
No. It
Okay,
doesn't. Javi Baez.
Looks like you need a third baseman, Matt.
Yeah. No, he got Donaldson.
Oh, yeah, Donaldson.
I need a
hold on.
first
Let me just say that again. Looks like you need a third baseman, Matt. Burn. Anyway, go ahead. That's a sick burn, you guys.
that
Frank's
is a
dying
sick-
over there.
Yeah, he is.
Is Frank still here?
Frank
Yeah,
quit.
Frank's still here. Oh,
Frank
yeah.
quit.
I think I'm gonna go old time baseball, and I'm
Older than
Yeah.
Jesse Burkett?
All right.
Is he a Cleveland Spider?
No. Let's go Joe Kelly with a Kelley.
Thank God you specified.
He played left field and first base. I'm putting him at first.
Well,
Later in his career, he played first.
Joe Kelly going to first.
No one's going to be able to argue with you anyway. There's no footage of him. Okay, and for my last pick for catcher, because it was so, I'm just going to take Hall of Famer Josh Gibson.
Yep.
Sure.
He might be the all-time home run champ if we're to believe what we're told. So I'll take him as my catcher.
Yep, there it is. And this is the final pick, is it not?
It is.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay,
That was
well,
a very quick draft.
you'll be buzzing along. My center fielder is going to be Larry Doby.
Yeah.
And we, friends, have completed the Sagittarius draft.
In record time.
Well, that's good, though, because Tewks can talk, and he's great storyteller. We want to make sure we give Tewks all his time because it's his birthday present we're giving him here.
That is
I'm
correct.
sure that's all he wanted for
People
his...
don't want to hear us and ah. They
No.
want to hear Tewks talk.
They want to hear Tewks. And last time we had him on, he had a scribbler with all his research.
Yeah, I think he's going to be quite kind to me taking my 1880s players. Don't you think he's going to?
That's going to make him feel like you're telling him he's old. So congratulations on losing. All right, let's see what Tewks has to say.
So if any of our longtime listeners can remember way back when we started this podcast in November of last year, you may recall that our first ever guest on our first ever episode was none other than Bob Tewksbury. Bob, of course, has an illustrious MLB career as a starter for the Yankees, the Cubs, the Cardinals, Rangers, Padres, and Twins. As we noted on episode 1, in his 1992 All-Star season, Bob finished third in NL Cy Young voting to Maddox and Glavine, two guys we haven't heard of. Bob is now working in the sports psychology world and has a fantastic book on the subject called 90% Mental. An all-star player turned mental skills coach reveals the hidden game of baseball. 90% Mental, fantastic book. For sure worth checking out, especially as I think I've highlighted to Bob, the John Lester stuff is pretty nuts, and the things he went through there and all the stuff he gone through in the process. Bob is back. Very special draft request for his birthday present. Because his birthday is November 30th. We wanted to give him this present. So please welcome to the show noted Sagittarius, Bob Tewksbury. Bob, welcome to our first anniversary episode.
Hey, I'm getting rounds of applause from the two people on this podcast that can see me. Thank you. It's nice to be back. Thank you. Yes, birthday coming up next week.
Is it a big one?
I'm sorry?
Is it a big one, Bob?
It's 63.
Okay.
Big enough.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. Yeah. But no, it's always fun. Hey, anytime I can do something that talks a little baseball, have a little fun, be creative, I'm all in. So this is fun.
We'll be very excited to know that you share a birthday with my mother. So that's
kidding.
Absolutely. Not November. She'll be 81, so she's a little older.
Oh, Winston Churchill too, you know.
Thank you.
Oh. Wow.
Bob, I said in the intro about your book, and I'm trying to remember because I might have confused it, because you also have a great entry in the Arm. That's what I was thinking about, the Arm as well, the book called A Fantastic Arm. That's where I was talking about. They have that great, I believe the Lester story, the John Lester story that you're included in. And this book with 90% Mental. What do you think are people surprised that you got into this field, and what was your drive to do that once you finished playing?
I don't think so. I think that my contemporaries would probably be, oh yeah, that makes sense, because I was a thinker and, kept journals and kept notes and asked questions. And so I don't think anyone was surprised. I get into it totally by chance. I was working for the Red Sox as a pitching consultant and ran into a guy that was doing he was a consultant with the minor league players for the Red Sox, doing mental skills, sports psychology. And this would have been 2002, I think, a long time ago. And I just was like, oh, that's a pretty cool degree. And so 2 years later, I applied. I thought if I could combine my professional experience with some educational background, I might have something. And lo and behold, I did. It's been a great second career. As you know, I've worked with the Sox, the Giants, the Cubs, and then when COVID came, the baseball shut down, and I just came home. And so I work in this little office here. It's a part art studio, part mental skills coaching room. And I have a handful of clients, a couple of big league guys. I actually work with the University of Maine women's basketball team, which is probably it's very exciting to be working with a D1 team, and enough to keep me busy and feel like I can make a difference, but not tied to the baseball schedule and sitting around doing nothing. So this is good.
Do you whenever you're doing a session and you have to refer to your own career, is there a particular start or a game where you can recall as an example of where your mental skills really kicked in? Was there a particular situation or game that you can really hone in on for someone?
No, but there's one game that I remember talking about confidence, and I just shared this story with a basketball player the other day, talking about confidence. And it was a game at Old Bush, and it was against the Mets, and it was a day game, and I just wasn't very confident going into the game. I just didn't feel strong, didn't feel good. And then, the first inning, I think Ozzie probably dove and made a play, and then Pendleton made a play. And then, I made my fielders look good, I'm really disappointed Ozzie didn't mention me in his Hall of Fame speech, because I got him so much action. He never mentioned me one time, but so we're playing this game, and each inning I started to get a little bit more confident, and it was like this little confidence doll inside of me that grew 3 times that day, like the Grinch or something. But I pitched into the 8th inning, and by the 5th inning they were not going to hit me, and I remember Lee Smith came in. I think the score was 2-1. He gave up a long foul home run to Dale Boston, and my heart went down to my feet. And then he ended up getting him out on the next pitch, so we ended up winning the game. But I remember thinking, why did I have to get those results on the field to feel confident? Why didn't I feel confident before I started? And so that's what I just use as an analogy, that sometimes confidence is a feeling that comes and goes, and when you do well, you feel more confident. But if I had started out not doing well, what would have happened? And so we talk. That's just an illustration of one of the games I use of talking about confidence, and how even the pros lack confidence, but you find a way to, as one somebody wrote a book, said, feel the fear and do it anyway. And when you're not confident, you don't feel, you're a little timid, a little afraid, you got to feel it and do it anyway. So that's one that I remember particularly.
That's interesting. That's because we're all actors at some point, or actors currently. And for the 3 of us, I think in audition situations and certainly performance situations, but I'm particularly honing on the kind of nervousness or fear you might get in a higher pressure audition situation. To embrace that and perform anyway is a big skill for us as well.
Yeah.
And get that. I think it's that moment you realize how lucky you are to have opportunity, that starts to turn it for a lot of people.
Well, that attitude that's perspective, right? And if you change the perspective of how lucky am I to be in this situation, instead of, oh my God, it changes the way you respond to everything. Perspective and that's huge. Is the situation a challenge, or is it a threat? And having one of my mentors with the Red Sox was a clinical psych guy, and he just talked about attitude of gratitude. He talked about that a lot, and that's what I remember pitching a game. And this is before I knew anything. This is against the Mariners in Seattle with Griffey and Buhner and those guys. Is 86, and I get a shutout going and 2 outs in the 9th, and Griffey comes up, and at first I was like, oh God, don't want to lose the shutout. But then I thought, how cool is this that I get to face Ken Griffey with a shutout? And I got him the ground out, and I won that one. So yeah, perspective is huge.
Now you said that, so that would be the Mariners of '96, I guess. You're trying to say, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
in my rookie year, '86. But I thought Griffey wouldn't have been on that team in '86, would he?
Would have been
No.
those.
Not yet. No.
So who was on that team in '86?
Is that Alvin Davis and
Yeah, maybe it wasn't. I think that's early onset.
I didn't thought maybe this was the time to call.
Maybe it was '96. You know what? Speaking of Griffey, I just got a crick in my neck because he hit his 50th home run off the roof of the Metrodome off me in September of '98.
Listen, I won't on that one. That one's correct.
Why do we go down these paths, Sandy? You start taking away all my confidence and self-esteem and everything.
Yeah.
First, you challenge my memory like I'm a dumbass. Then you bring up trauma of home runs hitting the roof. Oh,
Well, it's been great talking to you, Bob. We'll see you later.
Whatever you do today, hope you can turn it around.
I speaking of confidence, I'm quite confident about this draft. I don't know how you guys feel, but that talk really, really helped me, Bob. I feel like I have full confidence.
Oh, good. Well, I
win
don't
this
know what
thing.
team you picked, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
You will. Let's jump in because this was a challenge directly from Tewks to us and said, look, I don't know. Just make your best lineup of Sagittarius players all time. So we dug in, obviously, jumped in. We had this draft, and we actually had a lot of fun with this draft because
it was impressive. The players on here, very impressive.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly it. The list was so impressive.
A couple I'd never heard of, to be honest, but
yeah.
But it's all Sagittarius. That's a good thing.
So we just want to, and I think only one is actually on your birthday on these lists, but
let's get Jackson.
Right. Bo Jackson is on the 30th. So let's go team one. I'll just list off team one. We'll talk about your analysis of that. We have catcher Johnny Bench, first base Joe Kelly, second base Chase Utley, third base Josh Donaldson, shortstop Jimmy Rollins, left field Jesse Burkett. No one's ever heard of him until this was listed here. Joe DiMaggio in center, and of course Al Kaline in right field. Thus the T-shirt today, just to show the detail.
Oh, nice. Yep.
So what do you think of that team?
Well, 4 Hall of Famers. I never heard of Joe Kelly. I thought it was the Dodger guy, and he had an extra E in his name, but he did have a 50.4 WAR when he was playing back in the day. Certainly, Bench is one of the greatest. Utley's solid. I think we have Utley to blame for the rules around second base when he went into because the shortstop didn't know how to get out of the way, and it was a hard slide, but solid player. Donaldson, I'm not a big fan of. Think he's a little too rah-rah, and the mullet is just a bad look. Rollins is a solid player. Good. I know John Burkett, but I never heard of Jesse Burkett. I don't know where you guys get that pulled out of. When I went through this list, I wrote who on my piece of paper. DiMaggio certainly speaks for himself, and then Kaline. Those two guys. Two of the all-time greats. My first thought, 4 Hall of Famers. The rest of it's just kind of thin. Nothing really. This one didn't get me excited at all. It was kind of like
Okay.
Tough room. 4 Hall of Famers and an MVP, and you get a hat.
Yeah.
I feel like is Donaldson the only MVP at his position, and yet he gets kind of a cold shower there. I should say I looked at I don't know whose team this is, but Joe Kelly.
We do now.
Joe Kelly with an E, it should be said, was primarily a left fielder. So
Right.
you may have to talk this team, but he did play like in 1901. He appeared exclusively in first base in 1901 and mostly in 1904 at first base. And he was still hitting, like in 1901, he still hit 307, had 18 stolen bases. He was still.
I believe at that time they were still pitching underhand.
Oh, come on, man.
Hey, I could have hit 301 in 1901 for God's sake. It couldn't have been that hard.
Yes,
But life is tough.
No one was wearing a mitt. No one was wearing a glove either.
It was just a rougher time to be alive, I think. So yeah, you had to put up.
Yeah.
Well,
he also he had rubella the entire time he played. So
But I was going to say in this team's defense, Sagittarius is it's a mutable sign, I read, which means it's associated with adaptability. So I figured that if I have a left fielder at first base, because it's Sagittarius, I'm leaning into the adaptability.
Wow, that's impressive. That is impressive
right there.
Whoa.
So what you're saying is team one is back in it.
I was going to say, based on that argument, do you want to change your review of or would you like to adjust that in any way?
No,
Doesn't sound like
it. I just I don't know who Jesse Burkett is. Joe Kelly's, doesn't, he wasn't good enough to play one position. He had to play two. He still made the Hall of Fame. Utley, Donaldson just washes it for me. Rollins is a great player, was a great player. So yeah, I get maybe it's a
there's a couple.
Two,
okay, well, let's go on to team two. Catcher Josh Gibson, first base Tino Martinez, second base Craig Biggio, third base David Wright, shortstop Javier Baez, left field Bo Jackson, center field Ty Cobb, right field Ronald Acuna Jr. Team two.
Gibson's a Hall of Famer. 3 Hall of Famers on this team. I've got Bo Jackson, Mr. November, 2 for 2 off Bob Tewksbury. Couldn't get him out, which was pretty cool. I looked that up.
So you want him on your team then, because then you don't have to
can't get him out. Absolutely. Yeah. But Gibson, again, Negro League player, probably didn't really know how good he was because he, wasn't in the big leagues, but played in the Negro League. I'm sure he was, that group of players back in that day were probably exceptional that we just never got to know much about. Tino, he's batted .375 against Tukes, only 8 at bats. Biggio 400, 30 at bats.
Wow.
David Wright's a solid player. Javi, I'm not a fan of Javi. I think he's super talented, but I just don't like his attitude when it comes to playing. Bo Jackson, sometimes people say that I'm so old that I played with Ty Cobb, but that's not true. I never played with Ty Cobb, but I do like Coke over Pepsi. So he got a little bit of an edge there. And the new MVP, he's quite a player. He wears too much gear, though. He's got the arm guard, the toe guard, the ear guard, the shin guard, the finger guard. He's got all kinds of guards. But Bo, the only pro sports star to be an all-star in 2 sports. I see this slightly above team one because of Jackson and Biggio and Wright. I think, and there's some people, I know Tino Martinez. There's a little bit of commonality here that I know these people, but still. So if I gave the 1 team 1 star, I'm giving the 2 team 2 stars.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. If you don't like protective gear at the plate, who didn't wear a lot of stuff was Jesse Burkett.
Thank you so much, Matt. Let's get some images.
Kidding.
And again, because the ball was coming in at 35 miles an hour.
Yeah, and it was wrapped with tissues.
So I do think that Jesse Burkett and Ty Cobb were 2 of the only people I think to hit back-to-back or have back-to-back over 400 seasons, like hit over 400 in back-to-back seasons.
Nice.
That's impressive.
Still lobbying.
Still mad.
I like Tukes. I like your comment about Ty Cobb, and that it reminds me. I don't know if you guys recently saw that William Mays documentary on HBO. At the end,
Oh, I need to see that.
Fantastic. But at the end, they have outtakes, and he's talking to the director, and then the director says, "Are you the greatest player of all time?" And William Mays, at 90 whatever years old, says, "It's not really my job to say who's the greatest. Who do you think is the greatest?" And he says, "Mickey Mantle." And he goes, "Why would you say that? Why not me?" He goes, "Well, I'm a Yankees fan." He goes, "Well," Willie Mays like, "Hey, okay, well, yeah, Mickey, who else you got?" And the guy says, "Babe Ruth." And Willie Mays goes, "Babe Ruth? Never fucking saw Babe Ruth play. I don't know if I could have any opinion on that guy." Has worn the entire documentary. That's his exact comment.
Oh, I gotta watch this. It's on HBO, huh?
Yeah.
Really great. Yeah.
Oh, I gotta watch that. Yeah, I saw the Yogi one. That was really good too.
All right. So there's a little side note, a couple of great baseball docs to check out. Team of 3, our third team. We have Pudge Rodriguez at catcher, Mo Vaughn at first, second base, Tony Lazzari, third base, Matt Williams, shortstop, Larry Boa, left field, Mimi Minosa, center field, Larry Doby, right field, Larry Walker. There are 3 Larrys on this team.
No kidding.
Team.
I think that automatically disqualifies that team.
Chipper Jones there.
Yeah. That's
wow. Right. Yeah. So this team, 5 Hall of Famers. So Pudge, he threw a ball. I was pitching opening day in Toronto. It wasn't opening day. I was with the Rangers, so I wasn't pitching. Kenny Rogers probably pitched opening series. And he threw a ball back to me from home plate, way harder than I threw it to him. And I caught it in the palm of my hand instead of the webbing. And I had to take my glove off and shake my hand because the damn catcher threw it back faster and harder than I did. So I'm not a fan of Pudge, although it was great to not have anyone steal bases off you. Mo Vaughn, Boston guy, good community guy. Career kind of went downhill when he went to the Angels. He was an icon in Boston, and so he's okay. Tony Lazzari, certainly heard of him, and those great Yankee teams. Matt Williams pitched against him, 271 career average, 2 home runs, 48 at bats against me. He was a solid player, good defender, tough out, intense. He's still in the game, which I just can't believe. Some player, you play for 15 years, you manage a coach, and he's still in the game. Now he's with the Giants, I believe, back to the Giants with Bob Melvin. Larry Boa, 5-time All-Star, 2 Gold Gloves. So if I'm thinking about him as a player, okay, but I only see him as a manager when he was managing, and I just wasn't a fan of him managing the Phillies. Minnie Minoso, what a great name, right? That is one of the best names around. It 299 career average. You guys, how old was he when he played his last game?
Oh, he's like 57 or something, wasn't he?
Close, Mike. 56.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was like Bill Veeck brought him back to play. Like he became like the first guy to play in 5 different decades or something. Like that was like
unbelievable.
Bill Veeck's thing. Unreal.
Another Veeck promotion.
Larry Doby, another great player, Hall of Famer, catcher, hitting 288. And then, Larry Walker, who I know, he's Canadian, which I can definitely give him hang a star on that. But what a great player. I admired. He played the game right. He could run, he could throw, could hit for power, steal a base. Just incredible. I faced him 40 times, got 4 homers off me. This team I really liked. I think that of the 3, this is probably the one that I could hang my hat on, and but it's not the one I want to pitch for.
Oh, interesting.
No,
All right.
I created my own team.
Okay.
Oh, wild card.
Things take a turn. Yeah.
Yep. So because the three of you are so incompetent that I figured that I would just draft my own team, and it looks like this. You guys, let me know what this feels like for you.
Okay.
Hall of Fame, Johnny Bench catching.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm gonna go with Matt in this Joe Kelly at first base because of his WAR, 50.4 WAR. I know he didn't play first a lot, but he's playing first for me. Biggio at second, David Wright at third, Rollins at short, Bo Jackson in left, DiMaggio and Walker in right. That's my team.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you guys think of that?
I think it's great. I can't help but notice you got a lot of Team 1 on there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Bench, Kelly, Rollins, DiMaggio. You're right. So, Matt, I'm coming back around to Team 1, I guess. I guess I put myself in that position where I have to now look at those 4 players from Team 1. Who drafted Team 1?
That was me.
The guy who's been lobbying for guys that no one's ever heard of. That giveaway. Yeah. Well, I think that is I like that you put together you put together, we had an all-star, 3 kind of all-star teams, but that is like the all-star team of the all-stars. But
That's true. That's true. Great. And who knows, like after next year, Rollins and Utley, they could both be in the Hall of Fame, right? Aren't they both coming up for it?
I think that's a reach.
Yeah, I do. Maybe they're both, I think, Hall of Very Good, don't you?
Yes, Hall of Very Good. That should be a new category.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people in the Hall of Fame that I think are really in the Hall of Very Good that aren't Hall of Famers.
Yeah. I agree with you. I tend to probably not mind some guys getting in, but I think both of them just to come up a little too short in my mind.
Yep.
Great players. You'd want them on your team for sure, I think. But
well, Hall of Famers are Hall of Famers. You know, there's a different level there. But I mean, look at who am I to bash any of these players who are Hall of Famers or 5-time All-Stars or
MVPs,
or MVPs. You know, I got 50 career hits. You know, these guys get 50 hits in 2 months. So, so I can't get on them about anything.
Talked a lot. One particular player has come up a lot in our podcast that I think about 4 or 5 at least times. We talk a lot about recently even Keith Hernandez. Does he belong in the Hall of Fame? What's your opinion on that?
Off the top of my head, no. You know, I mean, he was a great player, played a long time, but was he? He was a really good player. I don't know how his numbers match up, but you know, with other people, certainly great defensive first baseman, great team 1, but I don't know if there's a lot of guys in that, you know, and then I think it's kind of like if this guy's in, that guy should be in.
That's what happens. Yeah.
You know, if Rice is in, Evans should be in. Dwight Evans should be in the Hall of Fame. You know, Louis Tiant should be in the Hall of Fame. There's no reason why he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. I would say Tommy John should be in the Hall of Fame. 288 wins, 283 wins. You know, pitched 50 years. You know, something to be said for longevity.
Well, it's the same thing. If Jim Cott just got in, I think Tommy John has to get in too. They're very
so that's what I mean. If they get in, and why did it take so long for Burt Blyleven to get in, and all this, the whole pomp and circumstance with the Hall of Fame personally drives me crazy. And
we are going to start a campaign for you to be in the Hall of Fame now, Bob. This podcast will begin it.
Here's a question then to follow up on that though, Bob. Say we were to say, okay, Bob Tewksbury should be in the Hall of Fame. what are, say, two other pitchers that you think are equivalent to you that you would then say then they should also be in the Hall of Fame? Say you got in. Who would you say are two that are most equivalent to you?
Wow.
And this
Doug Drabek.
Drabek, okay.
And John Burkett.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And Matt, just to confirm, that's John Burkett, not who's your
Jesse.
guy? Jesse.
Okay. Just so you know, Bob, I have tracked down on April 19th, 1997. You pitched a complete game against the Mariners. You won the game 4-0, and Griffey was one of the last outs of the game.
Oh, okay. It was 97, but he wasn't the last out.
Yeah, he wasn't the last out, but he was one of them.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was close.
You were close. Yeah.
I knew the team. I knew the score. I just got the year wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. Bob,
you beat Dennis Martinez that day too.
Ooh.
Wow.
Presidente.
He could be in the Hall of Fame too. That's another guy.
No kidding.
Yeah. That is an interesting mark. I think it's an interesting question that we could ask a lot of, which is basically, if this guy got in, who are two others that should also get in?
That's a good trivia. Yeah.
Kind of putting that together in the argument. And we don't often get to ask the actual person to answer that question. So that's the best part about having you here right now, is being able to ask those amazing kinds of questions. So your feeling was, at the end of the day, just to circle all the way back, are you going hard on this team one now because it's been lobbied so heavily, like as if we're on Capitol Hill?
Well, I think that the argument by the great counsel, Esquire counsel Matt, in his cross-examination, did make key points that 4 of my team was on that team. Therefore, it's like apples to apples. I think based on what we just said, I'd have to go with team one.
Team one's got to take that. He came all the way from the bottom back to the top again.
Oh, so. He did. He just went all. I think I did this last time too. I think I totally flipped and. But yeah, I mean, I never even noticed that 4 of those guys. Then that's half the lineup. It should be team one. Yay, Matt.
I did have first pick. It's hard to argue if you got DiMaggio and Bench on a team, you're looking pretty good.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So like the lobby, fantastic, Matt. And I think if I recall correctly last time too, it was you were close to picking my team, and you figured out it was my team, and then you decided not to pick my team.
That's right. That's what it was. Yes, I couldn't let you do that. Couldn't let you win.
Couldn't possibly. Well, for our fans listening in on the podcast, your Chiefs hat, Chiefs shirt, Kansas City fan, huge Kansas City fan. So this is a big game tonight. So, good luck with those guys winning. Matt, Mike, any final comments? Mike, you feel like you're brewing over there a little bit. Things you want to say about
Bob's criteria is his own. He knows more about the game than the 3 of us put together. So I happily defer.
Okay, good. I am going to protest mildly, but just based on just trying to be controversial. That's all that is.
Well, yeah, fair enough.
Tewks, you got one more year till you come back, so you're going to have to think about what the next challenge you're going to have for us.
I will. I'm glad that one. I was totally in a whim. I was like, I knew my birthday's coming up. Do Sagittarius teams, and Sandy's like, yeah, that's a great idea. Like, God, that was easy.
I think we should. Our next one with Bob should be a Hall of Fame centered one. Like we should do a like who should be in, who shouldn't kind of thing or whatever, something like that. Because I love those stats.
And Bob saw Ty Cobb play, so he's been around a while. Yeah, I misheard that.
Better.
I know you misheard. You misunderstood that. You misremembered, as one former pitcher used to say.
Let's misremembered. Happy future birthday! It's coming up next week. Thanks so much for the show again, and we look forward to our 2nd anniversary episode next year.
Yeah, hey, keep having fun, guys. I love talking to you. I love your passion and your humor. I wish we could have done this without video because you're all three of you butt ugly. But since we did it with a camera, now I have to say that one guy's got a hat on covering no hair, one guy's got fake hair that's too much of it, and the other guy's got a receding hairline. So we're all in trouble.
All right, Bob.
I think we need to have a talk after Bob's gone about having Bob back. I think. You think that?
All right, guys. Take care, y'all. Happy
Thanks, Bob.
holidays. See
Great
ya.
seeing you.
All right. Just as good as the first time. A million stories.
Yeah.
Yeah. He likes to burn me. But yeah, so great to have 1 year in. It's
Hard
been
to believe.
but it's been great, guys. We've had 1 year. We've actually accomplished 1 year. We have 29 episodes now
Oh,
in the
it is
can.
29?
Yeah, 29 in a
Wow.
year. Not too bad, Matt. How many weeks are in a year? 52.
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Weeks in a year is 52, right?
That's correct.
Why is everyone?
Frank, check that.
Geez, I didn't think that was going to be a hard question. That was entry level.
It shouldn't have been.
Anyway, we're over
I thought
once
you
every
were
2 weeks.
setting me up for some kind of a joke.
No,
or
we're like
something.
just saying, like, yeah, it's not bad. It's like once every 2 weeks we had an episode, even
Okay,
more than that.
okay.
Yeah.
Not too bad. And we'll be back here for episode 30 soon enough. And what else can you say other than we got a lot of pillows, we got a lot of heart.
We had a lot of
And
fun at Cabin Fest.
we had a lot of fun at Cabin Fest. 1 year into this endeavor. Frank, you're good?
Always good.
Okay.
Yeah.
You ready for another year?
Oh, hell yeah. Let's do it.
All right.
We're going to do them all right now.
Let's go right now.
Let's
God,
go.
that's why the pillows are here. We're sleeping
We're
over.
gonna
Four
go
episodes right now.
crack a raw egg in a glass right now.
Yeah.
Maybe
Done.
we should take it on the road.
And run the steps.
Take it on the road.
That's
exactly.
not a bad idea.
Yeah. Take it down the road to the bar. I'm Sandy Jobin Bevins.
I'm Matt Kippen.
I'm Mike Shera.
We'll see you next time on This Day in Sports.